On this episode of The Gilbert K Show, we sit down with Frederico Lapenda, MMA TV trailblazer, Oscar-eligible film producer, grand jury president at the Beverly Hills Film Festival, and Stan Lee's co-writer. From launching Paradigm Pictures to creating his own AI twin, Lapenda is rewriting the rules of storytelling across film, tech, and global sports. This is a no-holds-barred deep dive into legacy, innovation, and what it really takes to build an empire in Hollywood. Let's welcome Frederico Lapenda.
Hey, Frederico, how are you today?
Hi, Gilbert. Thank you for having me, and congratulations on your show. You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you for joining me on the show. Before we dive in, what clip we're going to see or listen to from
So
your
we're
latest work?
watching we're watching this the stage of my last production, which is why the equivalent of TED Talks, a
Mhm.
Brazilian version of it. So now you guys are watching the stage and the audience and everything else.
That's great. Let's watch or listen to it.
It's showtime. Why Talks, a place where you share your ideas. Technology, entertainment, design, movies, fashion, travel. A place in which market leaders come to share their journey and experiences. And the ultimate goal is to inspire.
Okay, great. So our first segment is Origins and MMA era. Before the red carpets and film festivals, your first decade was deeply rooted in MMA as a TV producer. What drew you into that world, and how did combat mortality change the game for MMA on US TV?
What drew me to that world, first of all, was the fact I was trained in the martial arts, and that was right at the beginning of this sport in America. Secondly, when I went to film school, one of the teachers told us that would be very difficult to become a filmmaker because it was really expensive to make movies back then. So he said, whoever tries to have a TV career will have a much easier ride. So when the opportunity presented itself, I capitalized on it.
Excellent. That's great. And what were some of the wildest or most defining behind the scenes moments producing MMA fights across countries like Russia, Brazil, and Japan?
Oh man, I cannot begin telling you. You know, there's so many crazy stories. One of them was happened in Moscow. I was producing a show, and my fighter was winning, and the my my local partner, my co-producer, wanted to was giving orders to the referee to restart the fight, even though my guy was winning. So I had to go inside of the ring, and there were 2,000 tough guys watching the sport. So I had to kind of face all these, all these guys, and everybody was booing, throwing things at me. Very challenging.
Oh,
Another really difficult one happened in Kiev
yeah,
when we're doing the show in 1996, 97 actually, 6 years after the curtain had gone down.
yeah.
And we also had an issue with the local promoter, and we all had to leave the hotel in the middle of the night because things were about to get tough, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. So, what influenced you to into that field? Is like were your family into, I don't know, martial arts
Yeah,
or?
so I trained martial arts as a kid. When I was 5 years old, I started doing judo. Then
Yeah.
later on, I did boxing and I did Muay Thai. So I kind of had that, passion for martial
Okay.
arts growing up. And
Yeah.
then, later on in life, I was a producer who loved the arts. So it was a natural, progression.
Transition. Yeah. Okay, great. Um, Many know you as a film producer, but you were already disrupting media long before Netflix. How did those early days in MMA shape the kind of producer you became?
Well, MMA, because it was, I was producing my own events, I had to generate marketing and press. So it made me very, very creative whenever I produced a show. I had to think, how am I going to generate free press? How
Yeah.
am I going to bring eyeballs to the event? How am I going to sell seats? So I was always thinking outside the box, and that's for a producer that's very rare because usually you when you operate in America, everything is kind of buttoned up. Back in the day, wasn't. It was very, very difficult. So
Hmm.
it was a great school of hard knocks because I as I moved every month I did a show in a different country, so there was always that learning process of what to do, how
Hmm.
and
Okay.
that helped my career because I also at the time I was selling VHS, so I was how do I get my footage across to different countries? How do I create interest?
Hmm. Hmm. So we're gonna take a break and we're gonna play a game, this or that, and it's a rapid fire game. And in this game, you'll need to choose one or two options as quickly as possible. Are you ready, Federico?
I hope so. I'm not good in games, but I'll try.
Okay. MMA cage or movie set?
Movie set.
Directing talent or discovering talent?
Discovering.
Writing with Stan Lee or producing with Nicolas Cage?
Writing with Stanley. Difficult question to answer, but Stanley.
Sorry.
Yeah.
uh,
Moving the spot.
a festival premiere or an AI premiere?
Festival premiere.
Classic storytelling or immersive tech?
Classic.
Live action or animation?
Live action.
Uh,
You put me on the spot so bad here, man. You'll never work again.
judging a film or pitching one?
Pitching.
Uh, okay, red carpet, flashbulbs, or strategy sessions at lapenda.org?
Sessions at lapenda.org.
$1 billion box office or a timeless legacy?
Legacy.
Okay, we'll move on to the next segment, filmmaking,
How did I do?
innovation. Excellent. Very good. Um, filmmaking, innovation, and Stanley. From live fights to feature films, you've made a massive leap by founding Paradigm Pictures. What was your mission when launching it, and how that vision evolved over the years?
A Paradigm was the second production company I created it, and the one before I had partners. So my goal was just to be able to be on the driver's seat of my career, make the movies I wanted it. So it was a very important step on my career.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how that vision evolved over the years. So
It
you
was
started it.
it was very fruitful. I was
Yeah,
able to produce many movies with that label. I got some theatrical releases, and it was an incredible journey. It has been. It's still open.
that's great. Do you have any tips for producers or filmmakers or people who are starting out for starting a production company? Or do you have any
Just don't, I mean,
recommendations?
it's all about grit.
Mhm.
You must be. You never. I mean, if that's what you want to do in your life, it's a life commitment. Never give up. Get ready for the no's. Don't get discouraged. Just keep fighting the fight.
Excellent. Um, okay, you were chosen as the president of the grand jury at the Beverly Hills Film Festival. What do you look for when judging a truly great film? Any underdog story that surprised you as a juror?
See, as the president of the festival, one of my duties is to select the jurors, and
Yeah,
then so that's a lot of fun, because I get to bring some of my friends and hang out with them that week. And as far as me, and I always select one category that I get to speak. That I get to judge, and the one I like the most is documentaries. So I always look forward to that time of the year, so I get to watch and all these, incredible documentaries from all over the world.
yeah, that's great. Okay, let's talk about Allies of the Amazon. How did your collaboration with the legendary Stan Lee come about? And what's your vision for turning that book into a film?
So I had a friend that
Yeah.
I met him trying to buy a car, an old car, a used car that he was selling. I didn't buy the car. We stayed friends. Fast forward 15, 20 years later, 15 years later, he became Stanley's partner. I was coming back from Tokyo. I saw Lion King playing on the screen next to me, and I realized, I had the idea of doing the lives at the Amazon. Taking a film structure that works and
Yeah.
place it in the Amazon. I've always wanted something to promote the forest and create awareness. When I flew back from Tokyo to Los Angeles, I created a business plan. When I landed, I called my friend Terry, set up a meeting, pitched the idea. He loved it. He set up the meeting with Stan. I pitched the idea to Stan. I couldn't believe there I was, sitting with a man I admired, the icon, the guy who created,
Yeah.
the stuff that had such a strong impact in my life. But I was there, sharing it with him my vision. He loved it, and it was magical, man. It was probably the greatest experience I had in this industry.
That's amazing. Um,
And yes,
so
second part is my dream is to turn that into a film. I've given the book to Rob Minkoff, which is the director of Lion King, the film that inspired me, and he
yeah,
loved. He said he is open, So
that's great. Looking forward to it. So Stanley is a name synonymous with iconic characters. What was the biggest creative takeaway from co-writing with him that still guides you today?
he's how humble he is. That was the thing that had the strongest impact on me. Like how he's almost like he knew how big he was, and he made sure to make you feel comfortable, and the way he connected with you, he made you feel incredible. It was so humble. That's the word that I
Yeah,
summarize.
that's great. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna play a game called True or False, and it's time to test some quick, quirky facts about your life and career. Are you ready, Federico?
Yes, let's go.
Let's go. Okay, true or false? You started your entertainment career as an MMA fighter.
Pulse.
True or false? You were one of the first to broadcast MMA on US TV.
On what?
On US TV.
I was. Yeah, I was. Yeah, true.
True. True or false? Paradigm Pictures' first production was a romantic comedy.
Pulse.
True or false? You once co-wrote a book with Stan Lee.
True. Co-created it.
Uh, True or false? Your AI twin can hold live conversations with fans online.
True.
True or false? You served on a grand jury at Sundance Film Festival.
False.
Uh, True or false? You introduced MMA pay-per-view to Brazil in the late 1990s.
True. I'm
And
starting.
sorry,
I'm starting to enjoy this.
that's great. Your consulting company Lapenda.org helps filmmakers pitch their stories.
Basically, they can go in, set up an appointment with me, and then we'll spend an hour. First they gotta answer to a questionnaire to see if I can be of help, and then if everything checks, then we'll have a 1 hour session.
Mhm, mhm. That's great. Okay, and the last one is true or false? You produced a video game franchise for Xbox.
True.
Wow. So next segment is innovation, spotlight, AI, and consulting. You've always been ahead of the curve, and now you even have an AI twin. What inspired you to create Frederico Lapenda .holo.ai, and what do you think it says about the future of digital identity entertainment?
My goal was to connect with young filmmakers that are trying to do what I did, and always I'm always looking for to collaborate, for new ideas. So I
Mhm,
figured that's a way that people would somehow, connect with me, and then
mhm.
A, I could help them. B, we could maybe do something together.
Yeah. Can you explain to the audience what's AI twin?
It's basically a person can go in, click on a link, and they can ask me questions related to the entertainment industry, film festival, movies, music, etc.
Yeah, that's amazing. Um, with tech evolving fast, do you see AI companions like yours becoming part of how audience interact with directors and producers? And could this redefine fan engagement or even film promotion in the future?
I do. I think more and more filmmakers are going to do this for the same reasons I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, connect with other people and
Yeah, I think I happen to be one of the first ones, if not the first one.
yeah, and the AI twin basically it learns. It's an AI tool replicate from you and it learns what from you what
Exactly. All that I know and all that the world knows about, all that's out there as far as knowledge.
yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
very cool tool. um Aside from creating stories you're helping others tell the aside from creating stories you're helping others tell theirs through your consulting company lapenda.org. What kind of clients do you work with and what impact are you aiming to make in the industry through consulting?
Young filmmakers, they're trying to put their package together or determine what kind of film they're going to do. I think I can help them to structure, to do the right moves and to avoid making the mistakes I did.
Yeah. So it's is it mostly packaging or you'll be able to connect them
Everything.
to other
For me,
producers?
everything.
Everything.
They want anything they want, any question, from script to casting to distribution to film
Mhm.
festival, whatever it is, whatever I know,
Yeah,
you know, they have access to my network and my know-how.
that's great. That's amazing. Okay, and our last segment is legacy and the future. You've built an empire across genres and formats, from documentaries to game development. What's the secret to staying creatively relevant for over 2 decades?
I think people, I have a lot of people in my life, and I keep adding more people. I mean, I get to travel a lot and meet new cultures and learn new, you know, pieces of history, and so I think that helps. I'm open-minded. I'm
Mhm.
always willing to learn. I'm always looking for what's new, what's next, and I'm always trying to be ahead of the curve. Sky. I think for a producer, if you don't fight hard, you become a dinosaur. I'm not
Mhm.
producer, anybody. If you don't
Yeah.
have so much technology, so much stuff available, that you
Mhm.
really have to fight hard to stay
Yeah.
fresh.
Are there any markets you recommend aspiring filmmakers or filmmakers that have an idea to go to? Is it like Cannes, AFM? Is there like
Depends on the project. It depends on the project you have. If you're
yeah,
gonna do a low budget horror,
yeah,
you don't need to go to Cannes.
okay,
My biggest advice I give to filmmakers, if I
yeah,
was going to start today, I would be an intern in a distribution company, so I could learn everything about the industry before I made a movie.
yeah. The business side of it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
100%.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because once you make it, you have to you have to sell it and distribute it.
Yeah, people make it and try to sell later, and that's not how the companies do. They sell later and they make it.
Yeah,
They sell
yeah.
first, they make it later. So
That's a
that's the
great.
biggest advice I can give to a young filmmaker. Go to be an intern in a distribution company for a year, then you
Yeah,
do your movie.
that's a great idea. Um, okay, what upcoming projects is either through Paradigm Pictures or your AI initiatives are you most excited to share with the world?
I think the one that I'm most excited right now is my AI twin slash consulting firm,
Hmm.
the lapenda.org, because
Yeah,
I can see, I know that I'm going to be able to find really cool stuff. I'm going to really looking forward to that. I just launched that,
hmm,
a week ago, so I'm super excited.
that's great. Um, Looking back at both the MMA and film worlds, what's the one risk you're most proud of taking?
Producing my first MMA show. WVC1 in Tokyo, Japan in 1996, August 1996.
Yeah.
Before I left home, somebody called me and said the Yakuza was going to kill me if I went to Japan. And I went, and so I'm very happy that I took that because that was the biggest night in my career to date.
Wow.
There,
Wow.
there I was, 27 years old, in the center of a ring in Tokyo, Japan, introducing my event to the world. That shaped my career forever. A, I had the courage to face my fears, and B, I did it. I produced the show. I was baptized.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. How do you define success at this stage in your career? Has that definition changed since your MMA production days?
Definition has changed as I evolved as an individual,
Yeah.
and I believe that happiness is the key of success.
Yeah, that's great. Um, and what legacy do you want to leave behind, not just as a producer, but as a pioneer across media, tech, and storytelling?
It's a guy that fought hard for his vision, driven, had grit, good father, good friend, and create a project that had a strong impact on people.
Yeah,
They helped to make the world a better place.
yeah, that's great. And how our audience can connect with you? Um,
My Instagram, Frederico Lapenda. So Instagram, Frederico Lapenda, DM, direct message.
that's great. And our final question is any final or advice or recommendations for producers, anybody in the film industry? Any last thoughts? Any
I
last thing?
go do a year internship with a distribution company
That's
if you
great.
ever make a movie.
That's great. Frederico Lapenda, everyone. Thank you, Frederico, for joining me. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Bet Gilbert. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Congratulations on your show and wishing you lots of success.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's an
Talk
honor
to
to
you
have
later.
you. Thank you.
Same. Bye bye.